Hello, I'm Anita Hampton. I've been a professional painter and an art instructor for many years. I was about ready to put on some final touches on a painting that I recently used to offer one of the best tips that I could possibly give to a painter. Bigger is better. I don't think you're going to want to miss this.
We have a liftoff.
Nice to be in orbit.
Most painters have a difficult time understanding the advantages of painting those large light and dark shapes in the beginning. This is a common instinct since painting is a very exhilarating and emotional adventure. Painting in the fog provided an opportunity to initially paint those large, flat-like shapes of lights and darks in the beginning. It gave us a visual and physical experience to take advantage of this concept through the acts of nature. Let me explain. I put together a couple of rough illustrations to help show the advantages this mental approach has on a painting and one's painting experience. The first illustration is an actual photograph of the scene, emphasizing the combined overall large light and dark shapes. The second illustration shows two large shapes, one light and one dark. In this instance, I chose to combine the sky and the foreground into one big light shape that will encompass the large dark shape made up of a grouping of dark trees and bushes. As you can see in the illustration, these two large shapes have a number of different colors within them. The shapes also have some similar factors. Each shape contained colors of the same saturation and luminosity, or as most painters refer to luminosity, as value. As long as the two shapes maintain their basic color elements for the most part, most any color of choice can be applied. There are two other factors that also play a critical part in this story. One is to make each of the big shapes as interesting as possible. And the third, and most important and yet the most forgotten shape, is the canvas. As you can see by the finished painting, the large shapes are different from the prior illustrations due to being painted on a canvas with different dimensions. All shapes applied to a canvas relate and express themselves according to their dominance and location within the outer dimension of a painted surface. One other huge advantage for establishing large shapes in the beginning, I must mention, is when you work your way down into the smaller shapes, it helps keep us stay focused on our original goals rather than getting caught up and lost in all those details. Here comes your tip. In painting, since everything is relative to something else, for our purpose, we will call the large dark grouping our positive shape and call the sky in the foreground our negative shape. Here's the tip. If you concentrate on making your negative shapes that touch the borders of the canvas interesting to look at, your positive shapes will automatically have visual appeal. Should you struggle composing interesting shapes on your canvas, try some of these tricks. In the third illustration, the outside edges of the large dark shape shown in the second illustration was cut into making puzzle-like shapes with light colors from the negative shape. This added more variety and interest to both shapes. Another trick you might use is to set your mind on drawing the edge of the light negative shape as it meets the edge of your dark positive shape. In essence, you are drawing the same line, but that little mind shift will somehow help you make the outside of your positive shape more interesting. If you're right-handed or left-handed, try painting with the opposite hand. There are a number of mind tricks you can mentally play on yourself that will help disconnect the subconscious that intuitively wants to paint similar strokes or is constantly criticizing you for not painting the way you think you should. Once you are satisfied with all the large patterns, each shape can further be enhanced by adding smaller shapes within them, as illustrated by the sky holes in the fourth illustration. When the canvas is covered with paint and you are satisfied with your shapes, it is then time to start exercising the less is more theory. As you begin to bring out the smaller forms by adding a few light and dark colors within each large mass, be aware you can still lose the integrity and power of those initial underlying shapes by overdoing it. I hope this has enlightened your thoughts that bigger is better in the beginning stages of painting. This process helps give your painting structure and provides a happier and more creative experience for you while practicing good composition and self-expression. Keep painting, and see you next time.